From NJ.com, this is Talk is Cheap, a New York Giants podcast. We're talking Big Blue football all year round.
Welcome on in, Giants fans, to episode 127 of the Talk is Cheap podcast. I'm Matt Lombardo. Special treat for you here today is we're going to be joined by Giants safety Andrew Adams. But before we get to that conversation, a little bit of housekeeping for you. If you love what you hear and you enjoy the podcast, we love that you listen wherever it is, whether it's YouTube or out there on Twitter, wherever you're finding this podcast. But we'd really love if you subscribe to the show. You can catch us on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Stitcher, Google Play, iHeartRadio. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button. You'll get the podcast before anybody else. And if you really like what you hear, we really love those 5-star reviews. And we had a 5-star review actually come in the other day from Terrell Thicklin. He checks in and he says, great podcast, good information with nice personalities. And we really appreciate that. Ryan Dunleavy and I, we try to do these and put them out as quickly and as often as we can. And this week, as we're coming off of Giants OTAs and minicamp and with training camp now about 2.5, 3 weeks away, figured it was a good time to focus on the defense. There's been a lot of talk during this spring about the offense and what Saquon Barkley will bring to the table, how much Will Hernandez will improve the offensive line, what the Giants are able to do with Eli Manning, and then, of course, Odell Beckham Jr. and all of the drama surrounding his contract situation and what he's going to be able to do coming off the injury. But we haven't really spoken that much about the defense. This is really going to be a Giants defense that's in transition this year. New defensive coordinator James Bettcher is bringing in a 3-4 front. Probably not a lot of Giants fans have seen the Giants primarily run a 3-4 in quite some time. And Andrew Adams, the safety, is in a little bit of a position battle with Darian Thompson. Thompson kind of took over that job last season. Adams looking to retake the starting job this year. And he joins us right now here on the Talk is Cheap podcast. Fresh off of his youth football camp in Atlanta, Giants safety Andrew Adams. Andrew, thanks for taking a couple minutes today.
No problem.
So how was the camp? Fill me in. I know you guys had a big gathering of current and former NFL players, some Giants teammates. How was the weekend in Atlanta, and how'd the camp go?
It was nice. It was really great. It was a great turnout. Probably about 140 kids there. First, we started them out with some footwork drills, and then they go into position stuff. Then we got some good competition. The fastest man who can throw the furthest, whoever threw the furthest won the ball, signed by Eli Manning, and best touchdown celebration won the ball, signed by Odell. So it was some nice prizes. The kids loved it, and it was a great turnout. We had some other guys from around the league: Alec Ogletree, William Gay, Tavares King. I know I'm leaving some guys out, but yeah, a bunch of other guys came to join. So it was a great turnout and, just successful camp.
I love the prizes. I love the Odell Beckham Jr. signed football for the kid with the best celebration. What did he do? What was the celebration? What did he do to win the ball?
He surprised everybody. So he scored a touchdown, and then he kind of just stopped for a minute, and he took off running, and then he hit 2 backflips in a row. Everybody was like, and he was 7 years old. So it was oh my God.
That's awesome. Hopefully somebody had their cell phone and were YouTubing that as it was going on. But Andrew, also want to talk to you about your training camp coming up with the Giants, your spring. OTAs, minicamp, they're officially in the rearview mirror right now. You've gone through the OTAs, you've gone through minicamp practices. What are your first impressions of James Bettcher's new defense?
I love it, first off. I can't, speak enough on, how great the process has been going, learning new defense and, just trying to get the ball rolling, with new players and even some of the same players, just a new scheme. So I love it, and it's going to be a lot of fun to play.
Definitely. And I know back when they first hired James in his first press conference with us reporters back at the very beginning of the offseason, he talked about how he wants this to be a hyper-aggressive scheme, showing a lot of different looks, really predicated on different blitz packages, rushing the passer, really making life miserable for opposing quarterbacks. As a safety, how much fun is it to play in a scheme like that where you have a front seven that's flying into the backfield like he hopes that you guys are going to be able to do?
Very fun. As a DB, when you got guys getting pressure on the quarterback, that makes your job easier. And that allows you to make a lot more plays, because the ball's going to come out fast. And, sometimes the quarterback might not be sure, but he has pressure in his face, so he has to get rid of it, which allows the DB to make a play on the ball. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And, he also has us, around the line of scrimmage as well, and playing deep. So we're kind of all over the field, roaming around. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Do you like playing that center field role where maybe you have a Landon Collins up in the box, maybe, in run support or getting after the passer, and then that leaves you in the middle of the field to kind of, make some jump ball plays and those sort of things? Do you like playing that deep cover?
I do. I was a center fielder, in high school. So that's what it kind of reminds me of. You can kind of sit back there, read the quarterback, and just go off of his intentions. And when his hand comes off the ball, you can break and go make a play. And it's a lot of fun. And, landing around the box, he does that well. He does a lot of things well. But, playing the center field is fun. That's kind of my home.
What's it like having, a guy like Landon next to you, a real physical guy, like we talked about being up near the line of scrimmage, but he'll deliver a blow to a guy over the middle too. How do you think your skill set complements him, and what have you kind of learned from Landon since he's been in the league?
Landon has a lot of snaps under his belt, so he plays very fast, and which I try to mock. I love the way he anticipates and he sticks his foot in the ground and just go gets it. I admire that with him. So I would say for me, that's what I try to take away from him. Just how fast he plays the game. And, I love that about him, and that also helps me as well.
And you saw a lot of extra first-team snaps on defense this spring when Landon was out. You started all 16 games 2 years ago. What did you kind of hope to show the coaches this spring when you had those extra reps?
Just that I'm accountable, and I'm accountable to my teammates, to myself, and to the organization, that I'm gonna be in the right place at the right time. I'm gonna make the plays I'm supposed to make, and I'm also gonna make a few other plays that are like, oh wow, that's a nice play. So in the spring, through OTAs and minicamp, I was just looking to get a handle of the playbook and show that I'm accountable on the field.
And I know we talked a lot about how aggressive this defense hopes to be, especially in the front seven. One of the big keys to that is Olivier Vernon moving from primarily defensive end to standing up and playing outside linebacker, really in that pass rushing linebacker role. Playing behind him this spring, what were kind of your first impressions of what Olivier's been able to do? And as a safety, how much does it help having that type of a pass rusher coming off the edge?
Oh, that's huge. He gets from the line of scrimmage to the quarterback so quick that it helps us as a safety being able to just read the quarterback, because when a quarterback has pressure in his face, he can't just sit back there and try to look guys off, look safeties off. He has to kind of narrow down to his target. Which helps the safety be able to get an early break on the ball. And I think Olivier is definitely loving the new defense. He's an athletic guy, so he's very versatile. He can really do whatever the scheme requires him to do.
And competition seems to be the name of the game. On offense, there's the battle for the third wide receiver spot, battle at center. You're in a little bit of a position battle as well with Darian Thompson. How is that going, and how have you guys kind of played off of each other during that competition over the spring?
Well, me and Darian came in together, as rookies. So,
yep.
We're very close. I'm actually going to his wedding on Friday.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes. So, we help each other. We study together. We know that there's competition, but we came in together. We're close friends. So all it does is make us better. He raises his game, I raise my game, which ultimately helps, the Giants organization, which is the main goal. And, the goal is to get that 5th trophy in the case. So that's both what we're looking to do. And so we're both just, looking to help the organization any way we can.
You like that competition? It's kind of like you talked about, everybody raises their game. It's got to bring out the best of both of you, I would think, right?
Yeah, definitely. Just like I said before, I see him make a play, so I go out there. I'm like, oh, now it's my, I got to get out there, get an interception, knock the ball down or something. So it will raise my game. And then, you know, if he sees me make a play, you know, he feels that same way. So it raises our game to the next level.
It's going to be a lot of fun to watch that play out during training camp. I'm really looking forward to it. But it's also no secret, Andrew, that last year you talk about some of the turmoil on the back end, the issues with Eli Apple that he had gone through, injuries to Janoris Jenkins. How do you guys, as a defensive backfield, how do you kind of turn the page and leave the struggles from a year ago, and put that all behind you looking ahead to this season?
I think, you know, we go about it, you know, the slogan or the motto, you know, keep the main thing, which is practice that day, you know, meetings at that time. You know, we don't really look into what we did last year, what we did 2 years ago, or, you know, game one of Jacksonville, or going into Dallas, you know, for a divisional game. We really just take each day, you know, day by day, and put our best foot forward. And we know if we do that, you know, work day in and day out, that plays will come, you know, we'll gel as a unit, and, you know, we won't really have any issues.
Yeah, and to that end, there's been a lot of talk about a fresh start or a clean slate from the coaching staff. Pat Shurmur's talked about it a lot. James Betcher came in and said, you know, day one is day one for everybody, and you're putting all that behind you and keeping the main thing, like you talked about. You were in that building a year ago. You're in that building now. What are kind of the biggest differences between what happened last year as an entire team to kind of where you guys are going into this camp?
I would say, you know, everybody's super close. Nobody's really dwelling on last year. Everybody knows that the Giants organization is held to, you know, very high standards. So everybody in that room was brought in that room for a reason. I feel like everybody really understands that now. And Coach Betcher always harps on, you know, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. So I think we're taking each day, you know, honing in on the little details and make sure what we're doing is the right way. So, you know, we're not repping anything, you know, creating bad habits or anything like that.
And it's got to help when you have a new scheme. You kind of force yourself to get into the playbook and study that, and then take that with you out on the practice field.
Definitely. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that focus, it has to kind of help you, you know, doing the mental reps. You have to focus on learning a new scheme and then going out and doing it, you know, perfectly on the field in front of a new staff.
Right. That's part of being a professional, you know, taking it from the classroom to the field, you know, which is a requirement, you know, as a professional football player. So it takes, you know, a lot of studying and meetings and understanding, and not just in meetings. You also have to go home at night and watch film, watch your reps from practice, watch other guys' reps from, you know, the past defense he was at in Arizona. You know, just be able to muscle memory and repetition and studying and seeing it. And, you know, through all that, everything will be okay.
And it seems like there's been a lot of turnover this year. You talked about Alec Ogletree coming to your camp, and that's got to help from a team chemistry standpoint. And then rookies like B.J. Hill or Enzo Carter might step in right away. What can you tell me about some of the new guys that have been brought into the fold, like a B.J. Hill and Carter? When you kind of watch those guys in front of you, what have been your impressions of them? You
can definitely see that, you know, they know how to play the game. They can play at a high level. So, you know, all those guys are definitely going to, you know, contribute to the success of our defense, and I'm excited to see what they can do on game day.
And for you personally, I know it's kind of the downtime before training camp. Once the pads go on and once it's training camp and you have two-a-days and then the preseason games, what do you hope to show the coaching staff, and what are kind of your goals for this summer?
Just who I am as a player. That I'm a great player. I'm a great safety. You know, I can contribute tremendously, you know, to the team and to the defense. And, that's really the main thing, you know, just going out and proving and showing to them that I am who I know I am, and just letting them see that.
Andrew, tell us a little bit more about your camp, the cause that it benefits, and all of those things down there. For people that weren't able to make it down, what would they have seen had they been there?
They would have seen a lot of energy, you know, from the kids and from the NFL players. And they would have also seen, you know, coaching of the game, you know, safety, you know, little fundamentals that are a necessity to playing the game of football the right way. And they would also see, you know, the kids competing with each other, getting better and having fun, and getting a lot of wisdom from guys that are playing the game or have played the game professionally.
I think it's great when you guys take your time out to help the kids and teach the fundamentals and teach the game the right way. I'm sure the kids really enjoyed that, and I really enjoyed the conversation and appreciated you jumping on the podcast, Andrew. Thanks a lot.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Great conversation there from Andrew Adams. Really appreciate you checking out the podcast. And once again, if you like what you hear, we'd love if you would subscribe on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Stitcher, and leave us those 5-star reviews. A lot of good content coming up for you the next couple of weeks. Be sure to follow Ryan Dunleavy on Twitter. He's at RY Dunleavy, and follow me at Matt Lombardo NFL. I'm Matt Lombardo. This was a lot of fun. Thanks to Andrew Adams, and we look forward to talk to you again soon right here on the Talk is Cheap podcast.